Hey everybody, this is Aaron with GeoAce. I am here today to go through a new tutorial series on RESTerville. If you're unfamiliar with RESTerville, it is our data automation toolkit that is open source and freely available on GitHub, or you can just learn more at RESTerville.org, the website that's in the background here. But my assumption is that if you're interested in data automation, and many geospatial folks are, that you maybe don't have a huge understanding of the cloud, or specifically maybe Google Cloud Platform. RESTerville right now, at the time of this recording, only has support in Google Cloud Platform. We do have plans to expand that to Amazon Web Services, but we aren't there yet. If you are an AWS user, feel free to check back often. We're going to be doing tutorials then as we build out that support and functionality. But for today, let's go ahead and get started with RESTerville. So as you might imagine, the first place to get started with this tutorial is to actually go to Google Cloud Platform itself. And I'm not going to go through how to sign up for an account. I feel like we have all signed up for enough subscriptions in our lifetimes that we know how this works. You can see here that you have a sign-in button in the top right, so go ahead and either sign in with your existing account if you have one, and if you don't, just go ahead and go through the process of creating a new one. Let me just log in here real quick. All right, so you can see now that I'm logged in. We're going to start a project from scratch today, though. I will go that far. You can see here that we have an option as we click on our projects in the top left to create a new project. So we're going to call this REST test, because why not? And then we're going to go ahead and create it. It's not going to take too long, and I guess I should say, throughout this tutorial, I'm going to be pausing it just for the loading. In these cloud services, it can take a little while for especially the APIs to kick off and go running. So our next stop, once we're actually in our new project, we need to go to Compute Engine. We need to authorize that API to run, because we aren't going to be setting up virtual machines today, but Cloud Run is attached to the Compute Engine API. So this is going to load. I'm going to go ahead and start this tutorial here in a second. All right, we are all set. It took about 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes, but we are good to go. Without further ado, let's go to Cloud Run. Let's deploy a container as a service. And this is what we want right here. We want Artifact Registry or Docker Hub. Google Cloud Platform gives you an opportunity to just take containers directly out of Docker Hub, and we have that image available. Every time we do an update of that image, we go ahead and push it up there. So you can rest assured, know that you're getting the latest and greatest from there. And fill out the most appropriate region. Wherever's closest to you would be my recommendation. That'll make things go faster. And authentication, we're just going to do this easily here. Couple things, there's really only 2 other settings that we need to control here. The first one is the actual resources of the container. I would recommend myself, especially if you're dealing with somewhat large data sets, and by somewhat large I mean like gigabyte-ish, at least 4 gigabytes of memory and 2 CPUs. The larger the data set you're working with, probably the more resources you're going to need. But the thing to keep in mind is that you're not going to be billed for every hour. You're only going to be billed when you are hitting the API. Environment variables, this is going to be pretty simple. There's only one that we have to do just to get this thing up and running. We can do all the rest later, which I plan on doing. We're just going to make an API key, RESTerville test, and we're going to hit done. And we're going to hit create. One thing that you'll notice is that you have a URL right here when you are using Cloud Run. This URL, once you see that all 3 of these checkboxes are showing as completed, you're going to be able to go right to this HTTPS endpoint and check out the container. This is where your server is going to be running from, and you don't need to put in any additional ports or anything like that. All right, we are complete. This took about 3 minutes, I think, to actually stand up. Once you do revisions, which we will be doing in future tutorials, it is going to go a lot faster, I promise you that. But let's go ahead and test this thing out. Just put in that URL. You can copy it and paste it right in. And if you have this wonderful logo in the middle of your screen, then you should be good to go. Let's go ahead and test and make sure that the API is actually functional and working though. So if you go here to the documentation page, you'll see we have this PG service function. We're just going to go for an empty output just to see where we stand here. So let's put, I think I put RESTerville test as my API. Congratulations, we have a response. So you can see data services, and in a future tutorial we're going to add a Postgres instance and we're going to run this again, but it should be populated. All right, well, we'll see you at the next tutorial. Thanks, bye.